What we are witnessing is a manifestation of a historical crisis of the world capitalist system. The United States is at the very heart of this crisis. I think after what we've observed over the past several months, the old adage, it can't happen here, that somehow democracy exists in some sort of privileged state in the United States, is being shattered. The cause of this is not simply the evil Trump. This crisis has been long in the making. The last 35 years have been dominated by a steady escalation of militarism, endless wars, escalating attacks on democratic rights, the legitimization of torture, targeted assassinations. This is the culmination of all these processes. And in the end, what is it about? This is not something entirely new in history. What we are witnessing is the resurgence of imperialism in its most brutal forms. It is a sort of experience which was passed through with horrific consequences frequently in the 20th century in the form of World War I and World War II. And it might be noted that in just a few weeks, we will be observing 80 years since the end of World War II, the end of the Nazi regime. And yet, everywhere throughout the world, we are witnessing a resurgence of fascism, that is, capitalist barbarism. What must be understood? When we're speaking of the case of Mamadou, Khalil, Rumeysa, Bogdan Siratyuk in Ukraine, the students and workers who are being arrested in Turkey, this is part of a broader international crisis. And the decisive issue is whether in this crisis it will be resolved on the basis of a fundamental transformation of society. I think any strategy for overcoming this crisis must keep in mind two fundamental points. Ultimately, this is a struggle against the capitalist system, and for that very reason, it is international in dimension. All the cases we're discussing tonight very much personify the international character. The protest took place over the atrocities in Gaza, supported by all the imperialist powers. American students are opposing it and demonstrating it against it. And the response of the state is repression. And that repression is part of a broader campaign to wipe out democratic rights in the United States. So what we're putting forward, what the World Socialist website advances, the Socialist Equality Party here in the United States, and all the sections of the International Committee of the Fourth International throughout the world, is the mobilization of the working class on an internationalist and socialist program. That is the critical issue. It is a question of perspective, because on the basis of a perspective, you can fight, and we can win. Never forget the actions of the Trump administration are the actions of a regime in crisis. The American ruling class has reached such a point of degeneracy and bankruptcy that they find themselves represented by a convicted felon, a gangster, a crook, who embodies personally all that is backward in American capitalism and indeed in global capitalism. And it is a situation which is not unique to the United States. The names change, the faces may be different, but in fact, all the actions being taken by these governments to suppress freedom of speech, to suppress critical thought, to threaten those who protest against inequality, poverty, all the other conditions which we confront in the world, their inability to advance any progressive solution to these massive social problems on a world scale, demonstrate that the time has come to create a new system based on equality, based on the utilization of the vast resources which actually exist to solve the problems of the people and put an end to all the causes of oppression. I'd like to thank Mamadou for having come on this program this evening. I want to express again our solidarity. We will continue to wage this fight. You have vast support throughout the world. You are not alone. Halil is not alone. Ramesh is not alone. All those who are fighting are part of a growing international offensive. And everyone should understand that. We take this very seriously. Mamadou, you don't face a simple situation, but you're taking up the fight, and everyone who's watching this should be very aware of the responsibilities that they have. It's not just a matter of sending best wishes to Mamadou. Join the fight. It's our responsibility to make sure that his rights are defended and that he is freed from these threats which he faces, and that far from being persecuted, his courage is welcomed and a source of admiration for people throughout the United States and internationally.